Terus lang Leav. Have you ever loved a rose and watched her slowly bloom? And as her petals would unfold, you grew drawn on her perfume. Have you ever seen her dance? Her leaf, all wet with dew, and quivered with a new romance. The wind, he loved her too. Have you ever longed for her on nights that go on and on? For now, her face is all a blur, like a memory kept too long. Have you ever loved a rose and bled against her thorns and swear each night to let her go, then love her more by dawn?
Every rose has a storm. Every rose has a storm. Every rose has a storm.
As for the initial impression for the poem The Rose by Leav, we have a few initial impressions, which are: the first one, the poem is simple yet heavily emotional with a soft and a lyrical tone which can make it feels like a personal confession. It also uses the image of a rose, which is a universal love and beauty symbol, to reveal the bitter sweetness of love and longing. The structure and the rhythm are smooth, like it's like a song or even a love letter. And last but not least, on the surface, our initial impression is the poem would appear to be of romantic love, but deep within, it contemplates the pain, the vulnerability, the persistence of loving a person who has hurt them. So that is me and my teammates' initial impression. As for the themes and messages of the poem of The Rose by Leav, the first one is the beauty and the pain of love. The poem is about how love can be enchanting yet very painful, represented both by the rose's beauty and its thorns. The second themes and messages are the passage of time and a fading memory. It's touching on how love changes or fades with time and leaves behind blurred memories. And the third one is unconditional love, which is amidst heartbreak, the speaker still loves that, and that is how true love prevails over suffering. And last but not least is the double nature of love, which is the poem characterizes love as both intoxicating, which is the poet has mentioned grew drunk on her perfume, and also it is quite wounding. The poem is quite wounding, which is the poet mentioned bled against her thorns, to show that the joy of love cannot be disassociated from its pain.
Okay, moving to the strategy and form. This poem is made up of 4 quatrains, which means it has 4 stanzas with 4 lines each. So this gives the poem a balanced and reflective structure, allowing the poet to explore the different emotions of love in a steady rhythm. Each stanza begins with the phrase, "Have you ever?", which creates repetition and a rhythmic flow throughout the poem. This repetition also gives the poems a contemplative tone, as if the speaker is inviting readers to think about their own experience with love. The poems follow an ABCB rhythm, which make it sound smooth and musical. And this gentle rhythm mirrors the emotional rise and fall of love, from excitement and beauty to pain and loss. The poem is written in a lyrical form, expressing deep personal feelings about love, longing, and vulnerability. It's emotional and reflective, much like a love song or personal confession. And finally, the progression of the poem mirrors the life cycle of a rose. It starts by blooming, then dancing, before eventually fading and causing pain with its thorns. This represents the stage of love, how it begins with beauty and patience, but can also lead to heartbreak and also growth. Okay, now I will be explaining the language and imagery used in this poem. So, this poet used rich sensory imagery that appeals to different senses, such as sight, smell, and touch. It to help readers visualize and emotionally connect with the rose and the speaker's feeling. For sight, lines watch her slowly bloom, and her leaf, all wet with dew, create beautiful and a vivid image of the rose as it grows and glistens. These descriptions allow us to imagine the rose as something alive and delicate. For smell, the line, "You grow drunk on her perfume," appeals to our sense of smell and symbolizes how love can be intoxicating, powerful, and also overwhelming, just like a strong fragrance. And for touch, the line, "Black against her thorns," show the pain that love can cause. It reminds us that when we get close to something that beautiful, it can still hurt us. Other than that, the poet also used personification, giving the rose poetry human qualities. She dances, blooms, and is loved by the vine. This makes the poetry a metaphor for a beloved person or for love itself, adding emotion and movement to the poem. There's also symbolism. The rose represents beauty, love, and pain. It shows how love can be both joyful and painful at the same time. The poet used contrast and irony by showing that the rose's beauty comes with thorns, meaning that something beautiful can also cause suffering. Finally, the tone and diction of the poem are both romantic and melancholic. Words like blooms and perfume show admiration and tenderness, while black, blue, and memory kept too long suggest sadness and loss. Okay, so moving on the final part, which is interpretation. So, this poem reflects the bittersweet experience of love, which is beautiful and passionate, but also painful and temporary. Just like a rose, love can bloom brightly for a while, but eventually it fades and leaves behind thorns of hurt and memory. The rose in this poem symbolizes someone that deeply loved, someone who might be unattainable or lost, and it could also represent love itself, which someone we cherish even though it can cause us pain. The poet's repetition of the question, "Have you ever?" makes this poem feel personal and reflective. It invites readers to think about their own experiences, their moment of love, longing, and a heartbreak. In the final stanza, the poet shows that love is a cycle. Even when it hurts and we try to let go, our hearts eventually return to love again. is an honest portrayal of how difficult it is to move on from something or someone we truly care about.